Good evening, football fans, and welcome to T.A. Wright Stadium in Savannah, Georgia, for tonight's MEAC Football digital broadcast on ESPN3, featuring the Bears of Morgan State and the Tigers of Savannah State. Hello, folks. Alongside analyst Curtis Foster, I'm Spencer Turkin. Morgan State has been in 3 straight ball games decided by 3 points, coming out 1-2 in those matchups, with a win against previously undefeated North Carolina A&T sandwiched in there. Linebacker Damari Whitaker has been a huge reason why Morgan State has been in most of those games.
Yes, the Tigers going to have their hands full tonight with Damari Whitaker. I mean, he's a great player, great athlete. I mean, he's going to give us a lot of problems. The Tigers, a lot of problems, and hopefully the Tigers will be able to handle him tonight.
Savannah State's defense, a major factor in their win against Charleston Southern last week, allowing an option attack to just accumulate 33 yards on the ground.
Yes, the Tigers did a great job against Charleston Southern last week, 33 yards on the ground. Also, they didn't have very much yardage passing either as well. But the Tigers got to get better on their pass. They only had 11 yards passing, but they did a great job rushing at 213 yards rushing. So Tigers got to do better in the air this week.
We'll see what Devon Gibbons and T.J. Bell have today, as Morgan State is 10-0 against Savannah State, and we are expecting a defensive slugfest as both programs try and earn their first MEAC win this season. It's the Bears and the Tigers getting ready to kick things off on the other side of this timeout. You're watching MEAC Football on ESPN3.
Since 1890, Savannah State University has prepared smart, bold students.
The road has twists and turns, and when it ends, one thing is certain. Only one team will claim the title, MEAC champion.
Since 1890,
for their first conference victory. Both have non-conference victories, though Morgan State's non-conference win did come against a conference
Since
opponent.
1890, Savannah State University has prepared smart, bold students who make a difference and change their
that
world.
game does not count in
The
the
results?
conference standings.
They're making our waterways healthier, engineering better ways to work, telling the stories of our community, and creating better futures for the next generation. Seriously smart, seriously bold, seriously impressive. We are Savannah State University.
Each, like you say, they first win in the MEAC today, and so both teams going to be playing hard. You know, we may start off with a little chess game between both teams, but I look for it to be a great defensive game today.
A lot of talent on the defensive side. First, we'll highlight Morgan State. We mentioned Damari Whitaker in the open. Rico Kennedy, a preseason MEAC selection. Those two linebackers really seem to hold this defensive unit together.
And Rico's a kid that you cannot forget about. I mean, he's in the shadow of Whitaker there, but he's an awesome linebacker. He'll get after you, and then he'll lay some hits to you, too, as well.
Savannah State will kick things off to Morgan State to begin the ball game. Our referee today, Robert Frazier. Umpire Hassani Carter. Head linesman Stephen Green. Line judge Matthew Lauren. Side judge Sean McKinney. Field judge is Tony Vaughn. Back judge is Bilal Abdullah. And the center judge is Patrick Charles. It will be Giovanni Lugo to boot this one away. 81 degrees at kickoff.
And this remind me of they used to talk about the jungle, about the lions and bears and all that stuff. Today it's the Tigers and the Bears in the jungle here at Ted Wright Stadium.
Morgan State will get things going. Finds a hole along the far side, and MSU will have tremendous field position to begin the ball game, as Jordan Cofield was the Bear who started things off.
And that was a great return by Cofield there. I mean, he just went through the seam with the Tigers line to say, hey, come get me. Come get me.
DeAndre Harris, the 6'4", 210-pound junior from Washington, Georgia. start with an empty set. Pressure from the backside, rolls out, finds a receiver along the outside for a gain of a few.
Number 6, DeAndre Harris, pass completed to number 80.
You know, we haven't talked about the Morgan State receivers. They have some great receivers. They do not pass the ball that much. They like to run a lot. It's similar to us as well, to the Tigers, that, you know, they like to run the ball. And the thing is, you know, we want to see who can establish a passing game today.
The Bears do indeed like to run the ball, however, without the first two running backs on the depth chart, as William King will take that one up the middle. The third string running back out of Baltimore, Maryland. Jordan Riggins and Joshua Chase both out for today's ball game. They did not get on the plane. They did not travel for Morgan State.
So that may have forced the Bears into a passing game today with the two running backs being out injured.
Harris will work with three wideouts. Pistol formation. A handoff up the middle. That'll be good for a first down and more. And the ball is on the deck. And Morgan State will recover and keep possession.
The Tigers were scuffling, thought they had the fumble there, but Morgan State was able to get back on the fumble there.
And so it'll be a first down for the Bears. 18 of 75 on third down conversions this season after earning that first down. Single back set. The junior QB from just about 2 hours away. Movement along the front. And it looks like that snap was a little delayed coming back.
You know, especially we talked about it earlier about the MEAC with FAM beating North Carolina A&T today, 22-21. But also South Carolina State gave Bethune-Cookman all they want today. You know, the 26-28 victory down there in Bethune-Cookman.
Football's such a week-to-week sport. You really don't know what team is going to show up. Harris, the quarterback keeper, has a lead blocker, is down the sideline, and Isaiah Bennett will wrap him up and finally throw him out of bounds. But it's another first down for Morgan State. Isaiah Bennett has played in all 36 career games, a major factor on this Tiger defense.
You know, DeAndre Harris has 6-7 carries for 220 yards so far this year, so he would definitely run the football.
The leading rusher for the Bears coming into this evening's ball game will work with an empty backfield. The quick release to the outside. Polian takes a big hit, but is able to earn another first down, and the Bears are on the doorstep of pay dirt.
I tell you, the Bears have come out with all cylinders working today.
First and goal for Morgan State. MSU has been in each of their last three ball games, only coming away with one win. You know this is a hungry team.
Both teams should be hungry. Both teams.
Last year, of course, Savannah State was the team that struck first. The handoff up the middle, and King takes a big hit. The ball is loose, but he was down before the ball popped out. Uriah Oliver took that 83-yard touchdown to the house, and then it was all Morgan State the rest of the afternoon.
Yes, it was, and you would think that the Tigers would have been on top of that game because they scored first, but Morgan State had another answer for them.
It'll bring up second and goal for the Bears. So far this season, just 5 of 10 scoring touchdowns in the red zone. 8 of 10 in total. Corey Holmes will make an appearance in the backfield, and DeAndre Harris needs a timeout.
Well, he didn't like what he saw out of the Tigers' defense right there, and he wanted to see can he make some adjustments because the play that call was not great there.
There is a lack of familiarity in that backfield with the first two guys. on the depth chart that are unavailable. And so we'll take a timeout here at TA Wright Stadium. You're watching MEAC Football on ESPN3. Welcome back to TA Wright Stadium. Savannah State and Morgan State tied at 0 with 10:53 to go here in the first. Morgan State on the doorstep of the end zone. The snap back to DeAndre Harris. He wasn't ready for it, and he gets swarmed by a pack of Tigers.
Yeah, Harris was shocked by the snap there. I mean, he was waiting, and it just hit him, and he was lucky to recover that.
Cam Brown was able to rush on in, and it'll bring up 3rd and goal. As we mentioned, Morgan State has had some struggle scoring touchdowns in the red zone this year, just converting 50% of their opportunities.
And this Tiger defense seems to get tough down here in this area of the football field.
Jackson is the single back. Harris back to pass, and he is thrown down to the ground for a sack. And a late flag on the play as Cam Brown rushed on in there for his 3rd sack of the season. So back-to-back big plays. By Cam Brown, though that one is washed away by an illegal hands to the face by Aaron Robinson. And that'll give Morgan State another set of downs to work with in the red zone. So a costly penalty for the Tigers defense.
It was a costly penalty for the Tigers defense and a major penalty for the Bears offense.
And away from the play as well. That one is what Sean Quinn, the defensive coordinator for the Tigers, does not want to see.
Not at all.
Harris calls for it. Quarterback keeper, and he has his legs taken out from under him by Isaiah Bennett.
DeAndre Harris on the carry for the Morgan State Bears. He's tackled by number 5, Malik Simmons. Also on the tackle, number
And it seems like this part of the end zone, where the field, that the Tigers defense get very strong here, and it's hard to get into that end zone.
Teams are only converting 83% of their opportunities in the red zone against the Tigers. 21 of 29 in the touchdown department when they get into the red zone. 2 targets along the outside for Harris. The handoff is bottled up as Walter Yates, the freshman, read it the entire way.
Well, it seems like this Tiger has stiffened on defense. They do not want the Bears to cross over in the Tiger den.
SSU allowed just 33 yards rushing last game to Charleston Southern, a team that had accumulated 222 yards on the ground against the University of Florida. It'll bring up another 3rd down opportunity here deep in the Tiger zone. Nine on the play clock. Harris, 2-step drop, throws over the middle, and the pass is broken up in the back of the end zone.
The Tigers did a good job on defenses defending the Tiger den at this time here, and now they have to settle for a field goal, and we can't say that it may go through.
Oh, Alex Rea last week had a tough day at the office, just 1 for 4 against South Carolina State during homecoming up in Baltimore. So far, just 4 for 7 on the season. Did hit a 51-yarder at A&T. This one from 24 is good, and the Bears are on the board first. 3-0 Morgan State with 8:12 to go in the first.
Well, it seems like the Bears strike first with the claw, and the Tigers would have an opportunity to come back and strike back at them.
So the Tigers' streak of scoring first in games is snapped at 3. And we'll take a timeout here on the field. You're watching MEAC Football on ESPN3.
needs. That's why Dove Men Plus Care Body Wash has a unique hydrating formula to keep men's skin healthier and stronger.
Welcome back to TA Wright Stadium as Morgan State takes a 3-0 lead on Savannah State. 8:12 to go in the first quarter. Spencer Turkin, Curtis Foster with you. Beautiful evening here in Savannah after Tropical Storm Michael came through and dumped a bunch of rain here in the low country, as that one is booted through the back of the end zone for a touchback by Alex Rea.
And that was a great kickoff by Alex Rea. You were trying to pin the Tigers deep down in their own territory, then give Baldwin the opportunity to return. I'm quite sure that they're aware of Baldwin's capabilities of returning kickoffs and punt return.
Devon Gibbons will get the start tonight for Eric Rayburn's Tigers. 10 carries, 68 yards, a touchdown. Went just 1 for 5 for 11 yards through the air. Did not take a sack against Charleston Southern last week. It was the only pass that was completed by the Tigers all night. Get glider in motion. Gibbons looks around, tucks it, runs, and is able to gain a yard on first down.
You know, I've noticed that both teams are trying to start off passing, trying to establish a passing game here in their first series of.
Oh, both teams are better rush defenses. And with that statistic, obviously you want to try and test the corners and the safeties. However, both quarterbacks not really throw-first quarterbacks. As SSU keeps the ball on the ground for a gain of a couple.
Number 37, Jalen McLeod on the carry. He's tackled by number 99.
Antoine McCray, the senior in Forestville, Maryland, was the first one in on the stop. And quickly, SSU facing third down, just converting 22% of their third down opportunities, third worst in the country. Gibbons looking downfield, throws on the run to Kicklighter, and he hauls it in at the 30.
And Spencer, that was more yardage than he threw for last week. It was just 11 yards. And Kicklighter did a great job of getting open through to the Bears defender. I do not know how he got open there, but somehow he got open down the middle there. The seam route he ran.
A 44-yard pass for Devon Gibbons as the Tigers work quickly with their new set of downs. Option, Gibbons keeps it, and will lose 2 on the play. By far the largest passing play for the Tigers this season, as SSU struggles through the air, have been well documented this year.
I'm quite sure the staff wish they can get plenty more of those passes like that.
Well, those are the types of passes that Eric Rayburn saw out of both of his quarterbacks in camp, which led to this 2-quarterback system. Gibbons on second down will lead McLeod a little too far, and it'll put a 3 in the box.
I tell you, this Bears defense is pretty smart. You know, they started to go rushing. They started thinking, oh, it might be a screen, and they held back on the rush on the quarterback.
So 3rd and long for the Tigers, who are about 5 to 10 yards away from Giovanni Lugo's field goal distance. Two so far this year. With pressure, Gibbons steps up, has nowhere to go, and is dropped in the backfield.
Devon Gibbons is sacked by number 55, Chris Fadagoma.
And the Bears, they just call an all-out Bears blitz there.
And now Eric Rayburn has a decision to make. And it looks like the Tigers will try and attempt this field goal. It'll be a 47-yard attempt for Giovanni Lugo. Chandler Williams to hold. 2 block kicks so far this season. Lugo's kick on the way. And it's no good. He pushed it right.
Yeah, it had enough distance on it. Just pushed a little to the right there.
Morgan State's lead sits at 3 with 5:14 to go in the first. We'll take a timeout on the field. You're watching Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference football on ESPN3.
You deserve the best. Get Fios, the most awarded network. 100% fiber optic network. 100% phenomenal.
Welcome back out to T.A. Wright Stadium. Morgan State still leads this one 3-0 with 5:14 to go in the first, as MSU will take over from their own 31 after the failed 47-yard field goal attempt by Savannah State. The handoff behind the right side of the offensive line, good for a 4-yard gain. Second and 6 upcoming from Morgan State. The 5'8" senior, William King, the single back, takes the handoff and has some room to run as he's able to gain a first down on the second play of the drive.
William King, he's a little shifty little back there, and I guess the Bears said that they're going to try to establish a run game, even though they're not a great passing team, but they want to try to establish a run game without their two major running backs here today.
Morgan State came into this ballgame number 1 in the conference in time of possession, chewing away 32 minutes and 34 seconds of clock on average per game. And another carry for William King. He will be the workhorse today for the Bears.
You know, they always say Bears have a little cub there, and William King is the cub they had hiding, you know, in the hide there. So with the two big Bears down, we bring the cub out.
Came into today with just 17 carries on the season. As Morgan State in search of their first Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference victory since beating Savannah State last year up in Baltimore. King with another call, and this time he's brought down after a gain of 1 by Stephen Banks. Stephen Banks last week was able to notch his 200th career tackle, so congratulations to the Columbus, Ohio native. He's had quite a career here at Savannah State, and it looks like he's going to get an opportunity in the NFL. Almost every team in the league has been out to see him.
Yes, he has the opportunity to be looked at by a lot of NFL teams here, and hopefully he keep playing strong throughout the rest of the season here.
Third down for the Bears, working with 3 wideouts to the left. Harris throws into the midst of 4 Tigers. Really no Bears anywhere in the vicinity, and that'll be a hold for this Tiger unit. And the punt team is on for Morgan State. Jamichael Baldwin is back at the 15-yard line awaiting this punt from Nicholas O'Shea, the 165-pound freshman from Detroit, Michigan. Jamichael Baldwin was injured in the pregame warm-ups today. He banged into one of his teammates. Wasn't sure if he was going to be able to go, and there he is wrapped up and ready for duty. Low snap. Beautiful wobbly kick fielded by Baldwin near the 20, and he is absolutely pummeled upon catching that football.
Wow, he didn't have anywhere to go there. The Bears was all around the Tigers there.
No breathing room. However, a nice job by Baldwin securing the pigskin and not giving Morgan State some pretty good field position, because there were no Tigers around him to help him recover that football if it came out.
None whatsoever. I mean, they just let they missed the blocks, point blank.
It's TJ Bell's turn to run the offense for Eric Rayburn and company. It'll be 1st and 10 from the 20. Saxton into the backfield on the motion. Takes the handoff. Has some room along the sideline and is able to stay up as he's angled out of bounds. Rashad Saxton has had himself a nice season, Curtis. 3.7 yards per carry. He's been a solid second running back for Eric Rayburn. This is the guy who there were high expectations as he came out of Jacksonville, Florida, and now with two Jacksonville guys carrying the football for Savannah State, really good working relationship between McLeod and Saxton.
I like both of them, Saxton and McLeod. You got a speedster and you got a power running back.
Bell able to throw it away and avoid the sack as Morgan State had him wrapped up about 10 yards deep.
And, let's not forget about Kicklighter, too. He has a little speed behind him, too, as well. So the thing about the Tigers have 3 or 4 different backs that they can utilize, throughout the game, and all of them are very good backs.
3rd and 5 for the Tigers. Kicklighter was used earlier. He had the big grab on the 44-yard throw by Devon Gibbons. Saxton motions out of the backfield. Quarterback keeper. Bell finds a hole. He has a first down and more and trips over the turf and will slide in at the 45.
I tell you, that was one of the bear traps that just reached up and grabbed Bell by the ankle and tripped him up, because other than that, he was off to the races.
There was no one in front of him, and a visibly frustrated redshirt sophomore trying to get something going on this offense. I know he's been very disappointed with the way he's thrown the ball this season. However, he has been able to rush at times when this offensive line has provided him with a few blocks. The delayed handoff on the play action.
And that snap was kind of high there for TJ. He did a great job of bringing it down there to get control of it and then hand it off.
Had to bring it down and then hand it off to a guy who's listed at 5'8" and really might only be 5'6". Bell working quickly. Drops back, pressure on, escapes, and is finally brought down for the sack. Chris Fadagomo.
I tell you, Chris came in there like a locomotive just then, and Bell did not feel the pressure coming from behind there.
So it'll be 3rd and long for TJ Bell in the Tiger offense. Savannah State just 2 first downs today compared to 5 for Morgan State. Bell looking deep, has time, heaves one over the middle for Kicklighter, and he got tangled up and could not come back for the football.
Wow, he just threw it to the outside of Kicklighter. And it looked like Kicklighter's beating these cornerbacks all day. They do not have an answer for Kicklighter.
Well, Savannah State known for their quick, smaller receivers. Obviously, Jermichael Baldwin, who also handles kick and punt return duties, along with James Kicklighter. Jordan Cofield is back deep to receive the punt from Giovanni Lugo. So far this season, averaging 40.6 yards per attempt is Lugo. Able to get off a beautiful punt that'll take a Savannah State roll and stay inbounds and will be downed at the 11 by Malik Simmons. So a nice job by Giovanni Lugo to pin Morgan State deep with 26 seconds to go in the first quarter.
And that was definitely a great punt by the Tigers and great coverage by the punt team of the Tigers getting down there on the ball. So, we always talked about the series of defense, about having the defense out on the field so long. But this Tigers defense have withstand a lot. They have withstand the pressure the Bears have put down in the goal line and the red zone. They kept them out of the end zone. So you got to give this Tiger defense a lot of credit here.
It's been a strong unit and the strong point of this ball club so far this season, though the numbers a little deceiving because of the 2 FBS games. The handoff on first down, good for a gain of a couple. those games against UAB and Miami, difficult for anybody, really. Even their FBS opponents have struggled against those two teams.
You know, and the thing, you take those type of games as a learning experience to get better, and, you know, you try to get your team strong when you play those type of opponents.
Well, that whistle signals the end of the first quarter, with Morgan State leading Savannah State 3-0. We'll take a timeout on the field. You're watching Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference football on ESPN3.
And works with tools you already use. That's why it's the best AI for the job.
Welcome back to T.A. Wright Stadium. Morgan State on top of Savannah State 3-0 as we begin the second quarter of play. 2nd and 7 for Morgan State. And a whistle and flag. Looked like someone jumped.
Ball start. Offense, number 53. 5-yard penalty. Correction, number 63. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
And that'll be Stephen Tuani, the sophomore from Temple Hills, Maryland, who moved. Harris, the keeper, and he's dragged down from behind by Stephen Banks.
Harris on the carry for Morgan State. He's tackled by number 58, Stephen Banks, and number 12, Isaiah Bennett. Second down.
It'll bring up 3rd down.
Correction, 3rd down, Bears.
The Tigers definitely want to get a stop here.
Tigers fans, it's done!
Well, Morgan State has struggled on 3rd down this season. So far tonight, 1 of 3. Throw over the middle, and it looks like Savannah State has held Morgan State. No. Look at that. A close spot went directly to Morgan State.
Well, you know, I guess the angle that we're looking at it up here, it looks like he didn't make it, but the angle on the field that the ref saw, you know, he was there.
So we'll give the 1st down to MSU a minute into the second quarter. Harris works with trips. The handoff. Good for a gain of a couple. Jalen Jackson, the freshman from Detroit, Michigan, out of MLK High School, getting some run this evening with the injuries to Jordan Riggins and Joshua Chase. As we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, did not fly, either one of them.
I tell you, the Bears are bringing all the Cubs out tonight.
Oh, interim coach Ernest Jones, his first season in control of the program, was the defensive coordinator the last 2 years under Fred Farrier. Quarterback keeper. Harris with some room, and he gets his legs chopped out from under him, just shy of the 1st down marker, and they'll give it to him on forward progress.
I know we're looking at an angle. It looks like he's not making it. Maybe it's the angle that we're looking at.
The chains are set a little further back tonight.
Yeah.
Morgan State keeps it on the ground. Jackson was wrapped up and brought down.
You know, Spencer, you talked about early in the broadcast about the ball control that the Bears have, you know, and that's what they're trying to do is take over the control of the game now as far as ball control.
Mentioned earlier, leading the conference in time of possession. Deontay White, the slot man in the trips formation. Option right, quarterback keeper. Harris with some room, and flags come flying in as Harris got shoved out of bounds.
I'll take a guess. It looks like it might be holding.
We'll hear from our referee, Robert Frazier. And it is holding against Xavier Gravett, the freshman out of Nottingham, Maryland. So that'll back the Bears up 10 and negate the gain from Harris. So Morgan State backed up to their own 25. Need the 41 for a first down. Harris over the middle and completes the pass to Gravett at the 41. It's good for a first down.
Wow, what a progressive read by Harris there. And matter of fact, he had two receivers in the same vicinity. He just hit the one underneath there.
Someone got their route crossed up, but it worked out to the benefit of Morgan State. As Harris and the Bears continue to march down the field. Morgan State takes plenty of time on each possession. Quarterback keeper, and he is ripped down just shy of the 45. Cam Brown was able to get a hand on that white uniform.
And I tell you, this is definitely a ball control offense that the Bears have here. And I'm quite sure the Tigers are trying to find an answer. How can we stop them and let's get the ball back, give our offense opportunity to have the ball controlled.
Both teams like to keep possession. Limited opportunities on the offensive side today. Delayed handoff is read by Malik Simmons as King is dropped upon impact.
You know, I don't know if that was delayed handoff or just got a little mixed up in the plays or just didn't know where to go. I don't know what that was, but that didn't look like a very good play call right there.
I was just trying to give William King the benefit of the doubt. That is one of the drawbacks to having your first two running backs out with injury. Not a lot of reps for the third and fourth string guys.
You got to remember, the Cubs are just baby. They're just learning.
DeAndre Harris will spread his wings and go with a 5-wide empty set on third down. Fakes the draw, rolls out, pointing down the field, loses some space, and is not able to complete the pass in bounds.
DeAndre Harris passes incomplete, intended for number 2, Carl Garnes. Correction for number 22.
As William King, the running back, was the intended receiver. And it'll bring up fourth down. So a big stop by the Savannah State defense. We'll try and get this offensive unit, this time presumably led by Devon Gibbons, back out on the field. O'Shea with a low punt, fielded on the fair catch by Jamichael Baldwin at the 18-yard line.
You know, we talked about this earlier. We'll come back.
3-0 Morgan State with 9:24 to go here in the second quarter. We'll take a timeout on the field. You're watching MEAC Football on ESPN3.
Because we're a team. Creed 2, rated PG-13.
Welcome back to T.A. Wright Stadium. Morgan State leading Savannah State 3-0 with 9:24 to go in the first half. Devon Gibbons will lead the Tiger offense on this drive, opening up in a 5-wide set. First and 10 from the 18. The sophomore looking, throwing, has kick lighter, and it's picked off. Tariq Irving, the junior from New Carrollton, Maryland, was able to go sky high and rip it away.
Well, I tell you what, the Tigers went to the well one time too many. They were sitting back waiting on that pass to kick ladder. Kick ladder has been beating them time and time again. This time they was waiting on that.
And so Morgan State will have another opportunity to chew up this clock so far this evening. MSU has possessed the ball for 3 times the amount of game clock as SSU.
Wow. And we talked about controlling the clock.
And right now, Morgan State doing a great job of that. However, just 3 points to show for 15 minutes and 21 seconds of possession. Harris keeps it across the 40, and he's brought down after a gain of 2.
And the one thing about this Bears offense, they're very, very paused. They're very patient in what they do. They're not rushing, just taking their slow time, eating up the clock.
Harris will work with an empty backfield. So far today, 4 of 7 through the air. He keeps it on the ground, spins out of the first tackle, and is walloped as he tried spinning around again.
And you notice they went empty set, and they're trying to use Harris as a running back too as well to spread the Tigers' defense.
Well, both teams run first offenses at this point. So the only way you can get guys out of the box is if you spread all your receivers out.
You're absolutely right, Spencer.
And right now it seems to be working to Morgan State's benefit with all that clock they've been able to chew up. Harris with 46 yards on the ground, averaging 5.8 yards per carry. This time to the air, and it'll fall incomplete as Deontay White was the intended receiver at the 40.
Well, Harris, a little pressure there. He let that ball go a little bit quicker than what he anticipated him going. But you got to give credit to the Tigers' defense because they put a lot of pressure on him just then.
Morgan State now 2 of 6 on 3rd down. As O'Shea will boot this one away to Jamichael Baldwin. The Tigers came into this evening as the nation's leading punt return unit. 30.7 yards per return. Baldwin will try and break one here. High snap brought down by O'Shea. A high booming end-over-end kick. Baldwin will step up, field it with a fair catch. And now a late hit flag will come out after the play.
It looked like one of the Tigers just hit one of the Bears there, but I can't tell which one it was.
We'll get the call here momentarily. Robert Frazier will go ahead and sort things out. The Tigers, one of the more disciplined teams. Last season in the MEAC, this year sitting in 5th in penalties in the conference. (3-0) Morgan State with 7:47 to go. In the second quarter, we'll take a timeout on the field. You're watching Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference football on ESPN3.
Ancestors are from, and the paths they took to a new home. Could their journey inspire yours? Order your kit at AncestryDNA.com.
Back at T.A. Wright Stadium, Morgan State still leading Savannah State 3-0 with 7:47 to play in the second quarter. As T.J. Bell will get the offense rolling. 1st and 10 from the 12. Sweep for McLeod, who was able to run over a defender and get himself just about a yard shy of that first down marker.
Well, McLeod did a good job of getting away from the defender. The defender reached out to grab him, but his speed and his strength allowed him to run for about 9 yards there.
It'll bring up 2nd and 1 as the Tigers will now try and keep the ball on the ground and eat away at some clock themselves.
Yeah, we talk about clock time, and they have not been in control of this ball game here.
Well, the Tigers able to move the chains
and,
for the 3rd time tonight.
And I know you talked about the time of possession, and the Bears have definitely outweighed the Tigers in time of possession on offense, and the Tigers need to get a little bit more to insert themselves a little bit more in the offense and sustain a drive here to burn up some of this clock.
Hagan is the tight end. A high snap brought down. Quarterback keeper And Bell is wrapped up and brought down in the backfield. Lamont Hill, the redshirt sophomore, in on the stop. It'll bring up 2nd and 14 for the Tigers. Twin set. Hagan is the slot man to the Tigers sideline. Bell settles into the pocket. Lofts one for Pratt. He's able to gain some yardage after the catch and reaches for the 29 to get that extra yard.
I tell you, that ball just flew on Bell a little bit. If he brought down a little bit more, Pratt probably could have got a little bit more yardage out of it. He had to leap up into the air.
Travion Pratt, a young man that Savannah State found out of the USA football camp, known for his extra effort in practice. 4 wideouts for Bell to use. Drops back, under pressure, fires one into the SSU bench.
He just let that one go.
And quickly, it's 4th down for the Tigers.
It sounded like TJ just said, uh-oh, here's the pressure. I got to let it go, make it rain. And he let it rain for us. And, you know, luckily that it wasn't a bear there to pick it off.
There were 4 bears in his face. As Cofield is back deep to receive this punt. Lugo gets off a missile. Cofield retreats inside the 20. Takes it back to the 10. Sets himself up for a return. Comes towards the SSU sideline and is angled out of bounds around the 22.
You know, what I'm afraid of.
There is a flag on the play, and now some more. As a few players got tangled up and an injured Tiger on the field. Is Jeremiah Bundridge. So Morgan State will take over after the medical staff for Savannah State is able to assess the injured Tiger. And it is the 220-pound sophomore from Covington, Georgia.
That's something you don't want to see any one of these players or athletes get hurt. And, you know, we hope that the best is for him. Hopefully he can get up and come on back over to the sideline.
Also a bunch of penalties that need to be sorted out as Robert Frazier meets with his crew.
Wow, there are 3 yellow skirts out there.
I mean, flags just went flying everywhere. There's one around midfield.
Oh, it's 4. I missed that one.
And 3 of them in the vicinity of where the officials are conferencing.
They're definitely having a good powwow there.
3-0 Morgan State with 5:10 to go. We'll take a timeout on the field. You're watching MEAC Football on ESPN3.
And change the world. It's a big deal.
5:10 to go here in the second quarter. 3-0 Morgan State over Savannah State at T.A. Wright Stadium. As Robert Frazier has just sorted out the penalties, there is a hold on the Tigers that will be assessed at the end of the run. And then 2 players were just ejected for fighting for Morgan State. It was Dwayne Robinson, the redshirt senior from Baltimore, Maryland, and for Savannah State, Jonte Baker, the tight end from Valdosta, that have both been ejected after their unsportsmanlike conduct penalties, which offset. And so it will be 1st and 10 for the Bears from the 35-yard line, as we'll take another timeout on the field. You're watching MEAC Football on ESPN3. 5:10 to go here in the second quarter. Morgan State on top of Savannah State, 3-0. Harris, the quick handoff. Good for a few up the middle.
You know, the thing about it, Spencer, you know, the Tigers don't want to give this Bears team too many opportunities with the football. Sooner or later, something's going to break. You got too many opportunities here.
Well, a big hole in the middle of that defense with Jeremiah Bundridge sitting on the training table on the SSU sideline, having his left leg tended to. Could not put any weight on it as he exited the playing field. King is the single back. Movement along the offensive line. And now things are just getting chippy for no reason out here.
Wow.
Brandon Carswell and Stephen Tuani had a little issue. And now Tuani coming back into the SSU huddle. We'll have to keep an eye on that matchup. And now another flag has been thrown.
Wow.
Robert Frazier trying to get control out here on the playing field.
Well, I'm really surprised that they didn't get the Tigers for hitting the Bears in the throat there.
Oh, they saw that Tuani kind of stepped into it. As umpire Hassani Carter has thrown his flag now.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct foul, offense number 59.
And now an unsportsmanlike conduct on Adrian Allen, the center. So that'll negate the offsides penalty and back the Morgan State Bears up another 10 on top of that 5. So things getting chippy in the trenches.
Ball's on the 28-yard line.
Harris will work with King. The handoff to the senior. Bounces to the outside, and he is brought down.
He's tackled by number 22, William Campbell, and number 21, Donald Rutledge.
And it'll bring up third down. Back inside the sticks.
Wow, it's getting a little feisty out here.
That Carswell-Tuani matchup, Carswell jumped a little bit before the snap. That's the one to watch. The senior out of Mount Vernon, Georgia, Brandon Carswell, a preseason All-MEAC selection. Play action, the tunnel screen, and it's read the entire way by John Wilson.
Oh.
And now a flag comes in after the play.
There's laundry on the field.
It's like it's going against the Tigers.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct foul, defense number 56, Conti.
And this one goes against Aaron Robinson.
Well, I
He'll
tell
come
you,
off the field.
Well, I tell you what, Spencer, these refs will definitely take control of this ball game, and that's what you got to do. They're not going to let it get out of hands.
Oh, they're trying to at least. It has not been an easy task. It'll bring up first down.
First down.
Ball now into Tiger territory. Harris, play action, throws over the middle, and completes the pass. Xavier Gravett, give him 6. Touchdown, Bears.
And, you know, we talked about giving the Bears too many opportunities. I know last week we talked about the middle of the Tigers' defense. they were exploded again by the Bears offense, that middle wide open.
9-0 Morgan State, as the Savannah State Tigers defense, with a costly penalty to keep the drive alive. The swinging gate formation option, throws over the middle, and it's good for the 2-point conversion.
2-point conversion is good. Your score, Morgan State 10, Savannah State 0.
And that was a smart play call by the Morgan State coach, but being the fact that this game is going and to go for the 2, that's a great call by the Morgan State staff.
And that makes it 11-0 with 2:57 to go here in the second quarter. Well, that's the swinging gate that was used by Ernest Jones and the Bears. And that's why you do it. It sets up that kind of fake.
Yes, it does.
It was a run pass option. The pass was used. And now Morgan State with an 11-0 advantage over SSU. It'll be Baldwin and Durham back deep to receive. Alex Rea to boot this one away. He had a touchback on his first kickoff. Approaches and sends another one deep. Baldwin will field it. He'll take it across the 10. Has a hole at the 20. The 30 to the 40, and a flag comes flying in as Jamichael Baldwin is brought down after a huge kickoff return.
Let's see what the curtain is there.
During the return, holding number 1, 10-yard penalty, spot on foul.
That penalty will go against D'Angelo Durham. That's the 10th penalty that has been assessed in this ball game. 5 for both teams.
I tell you, these penalties can hurt you, or break you, or make you.
First and 10, Savannah State.
SSU was extremely disciplined last week, however, having some problems in that department tonight. Devon Gibbons back on to quarterback the offense. He'll work with Rashad Saxton in the backfield. High snap, bobbled and brought down. Handoff to Saxton, and he's wrapped up by a pack of Bears.
Number 6, Rashad Saxton on the carry for the Tigers. On the tackle.
It'll be a loss of 1 on the play.
And number 20, Malachi Jenkins. Second down, Tigers.
Empty set for Gibbons. Quick drop, throws, and completes the pass to Beneby. He's across the 30 and will run out of bounds to stop the clock after the first down.
But that was a good pass there, but Gibbons. The Tigers got to move a little bit quicker. They got to move a little bit quicker.
SSU holding 3 timeouts in its back pocket. Gibbons now 2 for 4 on the day. The sophomore drops back, plenty of time, tucks it, runs it, has room to midfield, and does a somersault into Bears territory.
That was a good read by Gibbons there. Nothing was open downfield, and he took off and ran.
The clock will now tick. Gibbons looking, throwing for the sideline, and cannot complete the pass. Travion Pratt was the intended target around the 20. He wanted a flag and didn't get it.
Well, you know, Pratt, I know you talked about his hustle, and I saw it just then. I mean, the ball was thrown way out of his reach, but he ran to try to gain it to make a play there.
That's what he is known for in this program. He is the guy that Eric Rayburn and his staff can look to when they need a pick-me-up. Gibbons brings down the snap, looking, flag thrown, throws, and it'll be an incomplete pass. We'll have to see what the flag is for. It's offsides against the defense. So then, other than taking 8 seconds off the clock, that play will not hurt Savannah State, as Cameron Chelsea, the sophomore from Fort Washington, Maryland, was hit with the infraction. And there's a timeout taken on the field by Morgan State. Well, Curtis gives us a chance to talk about how important this drive is for SSU to put some points on the board and erase this goose egg. Obviously, a missed field goal earlier in the half from 47 yards out by Giovanni Lugo. But after a touchdown and a 2-point conversion by Morgan State, it feels like the Bears have all the momentum right now. How important is it for Savannah State to try and recapture some of it heading into the locker room?
It is very important, Spencer. You know, the thing about it, if you can get 3 points going into the locker room because you receive the ball in the second half, you want to switch the momentum back to the Tigers, because the thing is, if you don't score here, it could be tough coming out that second half.
You mentioned 3 points. The Tigers do have all 3 timeouts now and a minute 10 to work. With the ball already at the 44-yard line of Morgan State, 7 is still a possibility.
It's a possibility, but we got to get a sense of urgency. The Tigers definitely got to get a sense of urgency as moving the ball.
Gibbons settles in, pressure on, throws, and it'll be called incomplete.
Number 3, Devon Gibbons, pass is incomplete.
So Gibbons does not take the sack as he's able to get rid of the football.
And Morgan State now, they're seeing like they're just dialing up everything against the Tigers' offense, trying to confuse this offensive line of the Tigers.
Oh, they're doing a good job of it, not even having to bring that many guys. Working with 6 in the box right now. 3rd and 5. Gibbons steps up, crosses his body and throws to Kicklighter. He's got a first down and more to the 27 and shoved out of bounds.
That was a smart move by Gibbons there to hit Kicklighter on the outside, because you got a lot of speedsters. He's a small guy. You can miss him. He's so tiny.
Kicklighter, his second catch of the night. And he'll line up as the slot man to the left of Gibbons. 1st and 10 Tigers. Screen set up for Saxton. And he's able to get out of bounds and stop the clock just shy of the 20.
Tigers doing a good job of using the clock and the sideline, holding on to those 3 timeouts that they have that could be utilized if they need to.
Well, you want to keep 1 in your pocket in case you need to kick a field goal and stop the clock. So that really gives you 2 to work with.
Right. You got 3 right now in your pocket.
Ball spotted at the 21. 2nd down, SSU. Gibbons drops back, lofts one for the end zone, and leads Snead a bit too far.
Well, you know, the Tigers doing a good job is moving the ball, moving the ship, and getting out of bounds. I mean, if you keep doing that, as long as you keep moving the ship and getting yards, I mean, you're okay. You keep them 3 timeouts in the pocket unless you really need them.
It's 3rd and 4. The Tigers trying to get into the red zone for the first time tonight. Morgan State showing pressure. And they bring it. The throw over the middle, and he led the receiver a little too far. It was James Kicklighter who could not extend the arms. And that'll bring out the field goal unit as Eric Rayburn wants to try and get himself a few points heading into the halftime intermission.
Well, you definitely need a few points going into the halftime. You know, you want to go in and make your adjustments and come out the second half to be ready to play some football.
It'll be a 38-yard attempt. 0 for 1 today, 0 for 3 on the season. And this one is good. Giovanni Lugo able to split the uprights and put the Tigers on the board. SSU trails 11-3.
And that's definitely what you want. But see, also you got to look at the Bears. With going for the 2, even if they score a touchdown, you're still up by 1.
Tigers would be forced into a situation
where they
potentially,
have to go for 2,
depending on when or if they score this touchdown. What does the card say? Do you go for 2? Do you go for 1? You always, it's like playing blackjack, Curtis.
Exactly.
Whatever the card says, you have to do.
Well, you know I'm a gambler, so you know I'm going to take it. I'm going for the 2.
So the Tigers will kick this one away. Cofield and White will be back deep. Lugo has not had a touchback on a kickoff yet this season. Goes with the pooch kick into the middle of the formation. It's fielded at the 35. It's loose on the field, and the scrum begins. SSU comes up with the football. We'll see if the officials award it to the Tigers. The Tigers have the football. The second week in a row that SSU has tried that pooch kick into the middle of the formation. It didn't work against Charleston Southern. However, SSU with a prime opportunity to score some more points heading into the locker room.
That was a great call by the special team coach there at that pooch kick. The Bears were not expecting that at all.
A huge turn of events with the Tigers holding all 3 timeouts. 32 seconds to go here in the first half. And that'll put the energy back in T.A. Wright Stadium, as T.J. Bell will work as the quarterback. It'll be 1st and 10 from the 34. A massive opportunity for SSU. Bell drops back, throws, and completes the pass to Pratt, who's able to get out of bounds at the 24.
But that was a great route by Pratt. Also, the Tigers did a good job of sealing off the cornerbacks of the Bears.
And SSU has not yet been forced to use a timeout as they work in the hurry-up offense for the second time here inside of 2 minutes. Paris Baker is the slot man left. Bell opens up, throws to McLeod on the screen, gets a lead block, and is brought down in the red zone. And now the Tigers will use their first timeout with 19 seconds to go in the second quarter. Well, Curtis, SSU with a prime opportunity here to try and tie up this ballgame.
Well, you know, they could either tie it up or they can cut the lead down a little bit more and make it a one-score game. You know, so it depends. You can get 3 points out of this, or you can get a pick 7. Well, you don't want to pick 7, you know, if you're the Tigers.
No, you definitely don't if you're SSU. However, if you're Morgan State, trying to recapture the energy here in T.A. Wright Stadium that you had for just about 28 minutes of this ball game.
I tell you, what a turnaround. I tell you, anything can happen in the MEAC.
It certainly can. We've seen that today. North Carolina A&T fell 22-21 to Florida A&M. The Rattlers, under new head coach Willie Simmons, undefeated in conference play.
It's amazing what those Rattlers have done. And only in the MEAC, I tell you.
Bell looking to the outside, completes the pass to Kicklighter, makes a move, and is brought down to the ground around the 7-yard line. The Tigers will take another timeout, one remaining for SSU with 11 seconds to go.
And you know, that was a great call by the coaches. I mean, you put Kicklighter out in the flats and let him utilize his speed. That's a great call by the coaching staff there.
Well, James Kicklighter has done a nice job today, folks. 3 receptions, closing in on just about 80 yards. The senior from right here in Savannah, Georgia. A pretty good player over at Windsor Forest in his day.
Yes, I saw him play a couple of times here in Savannah. A lot of speed. He always talk about just give him the rock.
It'll be 1st and goal with the ball spotted at the 8. Tigers trying to go 2 for 2 in the red zone so far this evening. Kicklighter, the motion man. Bell takes the snap. Quarterback keeper runs out of real estate and will throw it out of bounds. Smart move to stop the clock.
Very smart move by T.J. Bell there. There was nowhere to go. No one was open.
You want to keep that last time out for that potential field goal if you need it. And with 7 seconds remaining, you have time to run one quick play.
To the end zone.
And then you either go to the end zone and you bring in a touchdown or you kick the field goal. You could also use this play to try and position the football where Giovanni Lugo wants it.
That would be a smart move.
McLeod is the single back. Bell opens up, throws, and the pass is incomplete. And Giovanni Lugo is back on to try and inch the Tigers a little closer.
But, you know, that's okay. A field goal here for the Tigers will put them in a position coming out the second half because they will have momentum going. The last team scored going out of the first half, coming into the second half, getting the ball, receiving the ball.
It'll be a 25-yard attempt for Giovanni Lugo. Chandler Williams to hold. Snap is back. Hold is down. The kick is no good. Pushed it left.
Now that hurts.
And the Tigers 1 for 3 on field goal opportunities here in the first half of play. What could have been a 2-point game had Giovanni Lugo converted is now an 8-point game heading into the locker room. We'll take a timeout here. You're watching MEAC Football on ESPN3.
Just $79.99 a month for 2 years and ask about customizable streaming TV options. Click, call, or visit a store today.
Back at T.A. Wright Stadium, Spencer Turkin, Curtis Foster with you, 11-3. Morgan State leading Savannah State here at halftime. Well, Curtis, it looked like Savannah State was going to have a chance to recapture the momentum. Huge special teams play on the Pooch kickoff, and then could not convert on the third field goal opportunity of the night for Giovanni Lugo.
Spencer, I thought that was a great call by the coaching staff on the Pooch call kick there, and I just think that, you know, they had an opportunity to cut into this lead and just missed out on it. So hopefully they can regain back receiving the ball the second half, and hopefully that they can come back and score and get back into this ball game.
Well, a nice moment out here on the field. It was a breast cancer awareness balloon release by the Susan G. Komen Foundation here in coastal Georgia, celebrating Breast Cancer Awareness Night. as well as Military Appreciation Night here at T.A. Wright Stadium. Curtis, though, back to the game, you look at what Morgan State has done. Owned time of possession, 4 times the amount of football on the offensive side for Morgan State in that first half.
Yes, they did. Morgan State did a great job is controlling the football that first half. And, you know, the Tigers have to get back the second half and really sustain some drives and to keep the defense off the field a little bit. And also, as well, they definitely going to have to put some points on the board in order to win this football game. It's a great defensive game, as we talked about earlier. We knew this was going to be a great defensive game. We know it was going to be tough for both teams. Both teams wanted to win. You know, they first win in the MEAC conference, so it's an exciting ball game.
It certainly is. 2 run-first offenses. We'll see who will take control of this ball game in the second half. We'll be back after this. You're watching MEAC Football on ESPN3.
Wheat yeah? Freak yeah.
Since 1890, Savannah State University has prepared smart, bold students who make a difference and change their world. The results? They're making our waterways healthier, engineering better ways to work, telling the stories of our community, and creating better futures for the next generation. Seriously smart, seriously bold, seriously impressive. We are
30 seconds of an inch, the tastiest width for lettuce. Freaky fresh, freaky fast, Jimmy John's. Now try your favorite on our new 9-grain wheat sub. Wheat yeah, freak yeah.
Welcome back to T.A. Wright Stadium. Morgan State leading Savannah State 11-3 here at the half. As we take a look at the conference standings heading into today's game. Things starting to clear up a little bit, though, at the top of the conference, as North Carolina A&T was knocked off by Florida A&M in Greensboro earlier today, 22-21. Bethune-Cookman sitting at 2-1 in conference play, taking care of business in Orangeburg, 28-26 against South Carolina State. Howard demolished Delaware State. The Hornets falling to 0-3 on the year now, 55-13. And, of course, this game, Morgan State and Savannah State both searching for their first conference victory. It's 11-3 here at T.A. Wright Stadium. We'll take a timeout here at halftime. You're watching Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference football on ESPN3. Toot toot. Welcome back out to T.A. Wright Stadium. Spencer Turkin, Curtis Foster with you. Morgan State on top of Savannah State 11-3. And the most notable stat of the evening so far is 1 for 3. That is Giovanni Lugo's field goal total, as the Tigers have struggled in that department so far today and on the season now. Just 1 for 5 on field goal opportunities, as it has cost the Tigers a potential 6 points, and what could have been a 2-point game is now an 8-point game. We'll go through the rest of the statistics. Morgan State outgaining Savannah State 174-158. The Bears with 10 first downs, Savannah State with 8. Rushing yard totals, the Bears 85 on 22 carries, 13 carries for the Tigers, 44 yards on the ground. Passing, Savannah State with a $114 through the air, Morgan State with 89. No fumbles that have been recovered by either side on offense. Just 1 punt returned by both teams. Morgan State able to gain 6 yards on punt returns. 1 interception today, that for Morgan State. Penalties, Morgan State with 6 for 49 yards, Savannah State with 5 for 79. Morgan State so far today, 19 minutes and 3 seconds of possession time, 10:57 for SSU. Third down conversions, 2 of 6 for the Bears. Savannah State with 3 of 7. And both teams have been into the red zone one time today. Savannah State has only kicked a field goal, and Morgan State has scored a touchdown. Devon Gibbons, 19 carries for a net of 15 yards. Jalen McLeod, 13 carries, 13 yards. Rashad Saxon, 3 carries for 9 yards. And TJ Bell, 3 carries for 7 yards. Gibbons through the air, 4 of 10 with an interception, 79 yards, long of 45, and 1 sack. TJ Bell with a sack, also went 4 for 9 for 35 yards. For Morgan State, DeAndre Harris, 6 of 10 through the air for 89 yards and a touchdown, a long of 48. Has not been sacked yet. DeAndre Harris also right now the leading rusher for the Bears. 8 carries, 46 yards. William King, the third-string running back who got the start today, 10 carries for 38 yards. Jalen Jackson with 4 rushes for a net of 1 yard. The leading receiver for the Bears is Xavier Gravett. He has the only touchdown pass hauled in today. It was a 48-yarder. He's got 3 grabs for 69 yards. Corey Holmes with 2 catches for 7. And Darian Polian, 1 grab for 13 yards. Scoring recap, 8:12 to go in the first. Morgan State, Alex Rea kicked a 24-yard field goal. That made it a 3-0 game. Then Xavier Gravett with a 48-yard touchdown pass from DeAndre Harris to make it 11-0. And Savannah State cut the Morgan State scoring off with 36 seconds remaining in the second quarter with a 38-yard field goal from Giovanni Lugo to make our score 11-3, which is what the score is right now, as SSU will receive the opening kickoff of the second half. Curtis, how do you recover if you are the Tigers after that missed opportunity at the end of the first half?
Well, you got to get the ball here, and you got to sustain the drive. You know, you got to move the ship all the way down and put some points on the board, because right now you do not need to stall here at all. You need to move the ball, control the ball, take some time off that clock and score.
Still technically just a 1-score game.
It is. But you got to show this Bears team that you can control this clock and move the ship down the field.
Rea will put this one into the back of the end zone for the touchback. So the Tigers will open up the first play from scrimmage of the second half at the 25. And it'll be Devon Gibbons quarterbacking the offense.
And this is going to be a very important series here for the Tigers to try to establish yourself, to get back in this ball game, to get the momentum back on their side here. Very, very important. Actually, for both teams, really, as well as the Bears defense.
Tyler Hagan will open up as the slot man towards the Savannah State sideline. 2-back set for Devon Gibbons to work with. It's McLeod and kick lighter. Counter handoff to McLeod, who's able to plow ahead for 4 yards on the opening play from scrimmage of period number 3.
Second down. Ball's on the 29-yard line.
Tigers working quickly. Gibbons unloads. He's got kick lighter, who is able to reach. And it appears he did indeed get the first down. No, they'll mark him a yard short.
Well, now he has a long ways to go.
Oh, excuse me, yes.
I was looking at myself, Spencer. I said, wow.
No, excuse me. It'll bring up 3rd and 6. Play action. Gibbons rolls out. Has to set his feet. Looks down the field. Throws over the seam. And Pratt Hauled it in on the second attempt. What concentration by the freshman.
Wow, what a catch. What a catch by Pratt.
Unbelievable hand-eye coordination utilized by the freshman early in the second half.
And the Tigers needed that one.
10 on the play clock. Gibbons tucks it, now drops back, finds a hole, and it's closed quickly as he's swallowed up and brought down.
This Bears defense, they definitely close those holes quick. Normally you would see Gibbons just run up the middle there on that, but not with these Bears.
What a play by Travion Pratt. You can hashtag that one SC Top 10.
Wow, yes. That's a big D1 catch there.
Movement along the defensive front, and it'll be a free 5 yards for the Tigers on the hard count. Now, how about that for a freshman making a huge play to try and regain the attention of the crowd here at home.
And we talked about his hustle earlier. You talked about him in practice with his hustle. And he showed it there on that one.
He'll be the wide man at the numbers and the trips. Quarterback keeper, Gibbons, tucks his head and is able to get to the 21. It'll be good for a Tiger first down.
And as we talked about it earlier, the Tigers definitely need to sustain a drive here and put some points on the board here.
So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Tigers as they knock on the doorstep of the red zone. Gibbons, 2-step drop, throws to the outside, completes the pass. Zar Benaby was the one who hauled it in as the Tigers are into the red zone for the second time today. Ball spotted at the 12.
I tell you, if Gibbons just bring that ball down just a little bit more, he'd give his receivers a better opportunity to get more yardage, maybe score.
And Zar Benaby's not a short guy, listed at 6'5" in the media guide. The handoff up the middle. Forward progress stopped at the 9.
Number 37, Jalen McLeod on the carry. He's tackled by number 27, Colby Warrior, and number 28, Rico Kennedy.
A lot of chirping out on the field between these two teams. Not like there's regional proximity involved. Well, I feel like Savannah State came into this game with a chip on their shoulder with the way things went last year. The opening play from scrimmage for the Tiger offense, an 83-yard touchdown, and then it was Morgan State the rest of the afternoon.
Well, Spencer, the Tigers haven't beaten this team in
ever.
10 tries.
Gibbons, the keeper, spins, has a lane to the 5, reaches for the pylon, and scores! Give him 6! Touchdown, Tigers! Devon Gibbons with the extra effort.
And that was great running and agility by Gibbons there. Find an open spot. That should give the Tigers a lot of life here. The question.
Well, now some confusion on the field as the Tigers trying to figure out which unit to put out. A lot of play clock left for them to sort things out, and it looks like the card says you go for 2 to try and tie the game, and that is what the Tigers will do. Devon Gibbons, his second rushing touchdown of the season.
That's a lot of confusion going on there with the Tigers offense there.
And now a timeout is taken. And we'll take it with them. 10:55 to go in the third quarter. The Tigers trail by 2. We'll see if they go for the 2-point conversion or kick the PAT. You're watching MEAC Football on ESPN.
Chicken farming's a tough business. I don't know how Vaughn does it.
Welcome back to T.A. Wright Stadium. Morgan State leading Savannah State 11-9 with 10:55 to go. SSU lines up to try for the 2-point conversion and will look to knot up this game. Empty set for Gibbons. The sophomore, two-step drop, throws over the middle and completes the pass for 2 to Zard Benaby. And we're knotted up at 11 here in Savannah.
And that was a great play call by the coaching staff there. Great play. I tell you, the Bears were not expecting that play call there.
The crossing route crossed up the defense. We're tied at 11. We'll take a timeout on the field. You're watching MEAC Football.
Very lucky, stupid old chair.
Tied at 11 here at T.A. Wright Stadium. Morgan State and Savannah State with 10:55 to go in the third quarter.
I tell you what, now, Spencer, we have a brand new ball game here now. Now we have a game that, just like the beginning of the game here,
this one is returnable. Cofield is hit hard by Isaiah Bennett.
Did you say Isaiah Bennett? Bennett didn't do it. Bennett just hit him. He ran into a brick wall when he ran into Bennett.
Isaiah Bennett, one of the consistent spots on this defense, has played in every single game that he has been dressed for here at Savannah State. An impressive feat in a physical sport.
You know, we talked about who made the adjustment at halftime. It looked like the Tigers made some great adjustments at halftime.
Well, we'll get our first look at the Morgan State offense now. The handoff to King. He has nowhere to go and is smashed at the line of scrimmage. That door was closed the entire time. Harris keeps it on the ground to King, who spins and tries to get to that first down marker, and he's awfully close. It will indeed be a first down for the Bears.
Now, this has not phased the Bears. They are still trying to move the ship down.
Now working very quickly. The rush is the call again as the Bears try and wear down this Tiger defense, which has been pretty strong, especially coming off of last game.
And you're starting to get a push from this Bears offensive line there. If you notice, they're getting a little push there.
It'll be second down for the Bears. Harris working shotgun, goes hard count and draws SSU off sides. It's a free play. And a nice gain on the handoff. That's Aaron Robinson's third penalty tonight.
Yes. He's a hungry guy here. I mean, he wants the ball.
Had a career-high 9 tackles against Charleston Southern last week. So far today, just 1 stop. The Bears keep it on the ground again. Good for another first down.
You know, now the Bears have went back into this controlled ball move here.
On the tackle, number 95, Fred Raines. First down, Morgan.
But, you know, Spencer, that's how you slow a team down that has the momentum. You know, you slow it down with ball control.
Morgan State almost doubled the amount of time in which it possessed the ball in the first half as Harris drops back. Will look to the air for the first time on this drive, tucks it, and is met by that SSU defense and dropped just behind the line of scrimmage.
I'm going to pass it. Oh, I'm going to run it. Oh, I'm going to pass it. He couldn't make his mind up. The young man could not make his mind up at the time, but the Tigers said, hey, we'll make it up for you. We're going to give you a sack.
The first one in the box score for the Tigers this evening, as Morgan State will line up in a pistol. King will motion out of it. Gets his number called and is able to work his way to midfield. It'll be third and long. So far tonight, the Savannah State third down defense has been tremendous. 2 of 6 is how the Morgan State offense has fared. 117th in the nation coming into today in that category. Teams are converting 43% of the time against the Tigers on third down.
Tigers do a better job of covering that middle I see on the series here.
Empty set for the Bears. Pump fake. Throw over the middle is broken up on the big hit.
Oh.
D'Armani Ridley.
Curtains went everywhere.
And now a flag on the play. Oh, goodness. D'Armani Ridley came in and laid the wood. We'll get the call from Robert Frazier. It didn't appear like he led with his head.
It didn't.
It's another unsportsmanlike conduct assessed to the Tigers. And Eric Rayburn is livid. The clock will be reset to 7:08.
Well, you can't blame a coach at this. You know, you got one coach is happy and one coach is very upset.
So it'll be a first down for Morgan State to work with. We've already seen them take advantage of a set of unsportsmanlike conduct penalties earlier in the game to score a touchdown. That coming back in the first half. At the 2:57 mark of the second quarter. Play action, toss out to the outside, complete, and the Bears are in the red zone.
Number 60, Andre Harris passes completed to number 3, Corey Holmes.
Corey Holmes on the receiving end of that attempt.
Number 21, Donald Rutledge. Balls on the 19-yard line.
One thing the Tigers got to keep their composure here and keep playing defense.
Play action.
Number 13,
Donald Rutledge and Malik Simmons
Vanessa Bailey on the carry.
in on the play as Menashe Bailey
Tyler Rutledge on the tackle. Second down.
came up with the completion, and it'll bring up second down.
Well, he came up with a completion and he completed himself all the way to the sideline there. Hopefully he's okay.
Trips towards the Morgan State sideline for the Bears. The rush is dialed up, and it's read by that Savannah State defensive line.
It was nowhere there. They thought a hole was there, but the Tigers did a good job of clogging up the hole there.
It'll put a 3 in the box with 8 to go. And there's an injured player on the field. will take the timeout with him. Tied at 11 here in Savannah. You're watching Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference football on ESPN3.
Be limp-worthy. Goodyear, more driven.
Welcome back out to T.A. Wright Stadium. Savannah State and Morgan State tied up at 11. MSU in the red zone, 3rd and 8. However, Stephen Banks is out for this play as he was the injured Tiger. Looks like Eric Rayburn's defense is dialing up some pressure. Harris works in an empty backfield. Throws, completes the pass. And the Bears are stopped shy of the end zone.
The Bears went right back to that middle again, attacking Savannah State zone in the middle.
It was the leading receiver heading into this evening's ball game, Deontay White. 1st and goal from the 2. The handoff to King. Reaches, the ball is loose, and they'll say touchdown. Now there's a conference on the field. And now there's a flag. So we'll wait here for a second. As of right now, William King has just scored a touchdown. It has been a chippy ball game between these two teams. Robert Frazier getting things sorted out. And so the touchdown is good, so give William King 6. As Vanquez Bonner has been hit for an unsportsmanlike conduct foul.
No, it's not good.
And now the officials are conferencing again. Now they're trying to decide if the touchdown is good. A lot going on this play, Curtis.
It's a whole lot because you see one official signal touchdown, then the head official came out and said it was an offside defense penalty, then in sportsmanlike conduct. Let's see what he says here.
Still awaiting the call from Robert Frazier. As the Whitecap will step out and make the call. All right, so it has been sorted out. It is indeed a touchdown for the Bears, who are back in the lead, 17-11, with the point after upcoming.
And Spencer, that's why the Stripes gathered together to get it right.
Oh, they're still talking.
They got to get it right.
They certainly do. No replay available for tonight's game.
All they have is eyes.
And so Alex Rea is on for the extra point. Snap is back, hold is down, kick is good. And Morgan State with an 18-11 lead, 5:21 to go in the third quarter.
And Spencer, you talked early, this is a chippy game. It's a lot of emotion running high in this ball game here. Both teams want that first win in this MEAC. Both teams are hungry.
They certainly are. However, you can't lose your composure as you try and earn that first victory.
No, you cannot. You still got to play the game of football, which you got to have good sportsmanship as well. But you want to play the football game hard and play it legal, and just have a good time playing it.
Well, Jermichael Baldwin and D'Angelo Durham will be back deep to receive the kickoff. Alex Rea, who has no problem putting it through the end zone when the ball is teed up at the 35, will go ahead and have the opportunity to kick from the 50 now after the personal foul. So expect this one to go all the way through the uprights and through the end zone. Unless they try a little trickery of themselves, as Savannah State did the onside kick earlier, and this one is through the end zone for the touchback.
Another flag.
And now some more flags. Already up to 15 penalties on the night between the two teams. Savannah State over 100 yards of penalties.
That was a bench warning against the Tigers, looked like.
So it will be a touchback, and Savannah State will head out onto the field with Devon Gibbons leading the offense. Pratt with a nice block on the outside. Gibbons so far tonight, 8 of 14 through the air. Completing 36.6 of his passes on the season. McLeod is the single back. Quarterback keeper, Gibbons with some blocks to the 40, the midfield, the 45, and is angled out of bounds. So the Tigers trying to respond quickly. Devon Gibbons, a true dual threat quarterback.
Yes, he is. He can carry this team by himself on his legs.
So far today, 8 carries, 59 yards. 4 wide set. Play clock at 6. Gibbons opens up, throws, completes the pass to Paris Baker at the 40, and he's dropped at the 41.
I tell you, that's the first time that we've seen him go to Baker tonight, which Baker's a very strong receiver, has great hands too as well.
Just his second reception on the season. His last one came against Bethune-Cookman. It was a touchdown. Missed the first 3 ball games of the year with an injury. Gibbons keeps it, crosses the 40, and is dropped at the 39. Paris Baker, and really all the tight ends on this ball club, huge targets for Eric Rayburn. Tyler Hagan, 6'7", a former basketball player when he came here. Paris Baker listed at 6'2", 230, though I think that's a very generous listing.
Big tight ends. You would like to see them utilize the tight ends a little bit more in the offense, but you never know what's in the coaching staff system and how they run the offense.
2-by-2 line up the Tigers. Gibbons, 2-step drop, throws, and leads his receiver, Kicklighter, a little high. It'll bring up fourth down in no man's land. So what do you do here if you're the Tigers?
Well, it's still early in the ball game. They're going to go for it.
Looks like SSU is going for it with 2:47 to go in the third.
Or they may be trying to draw them off sides.
The Tigers have already burned a timeout here. Miscommunication on a PAT attempt. Snap is back to Gibbons. The screen, and he is bottled up and brought down on fourth down. Huge play for the Morgan State defense, and it's a turnover on downs.
I don't know about that one, Spencer. But they may have saw something that we didn't see. So, you never know.
And with 2:41 to go here in the third quarter, Morgan State with a 7-point lead will work with a short field. 53 yards to pay dirt. MSU starting to air things out a little bit more.
Yes, they are. I mean, they're trying to open up a little bit, open up for the running game here.
It'll bring up 2nd and 9. King sits on the hip of Harris. Takes the handoff, lowers his head, and is able to gain some extra yardage after the initial contact.
It looked like King was stopped there, but he got through that hole some type of way.
Carswell on the tackle. And it'll bring up third down. Third and 6. Low snap, mishandled, ball on the deck. Pile is formed. And it appears that Morgan State is recovered, but it'll bring up fourth down.
Morgan State was lucky to get away with that one.
So a lost opportunity for the Bears, who could have extended this lead to 2 possessions. Instead, the Tigers will try and take over after this punt by O'Shea. Jermichael Baldwin will stand at the 15. The Tigers, the best punt return unit in the nation. 30.7 yards per return. Snap is back. A high booming punt will take a Savannah State roll towards the end zone for a touchback. So the Tigers will have 1st and 10 from the 20.
I tell you, this has really been a back and forth game here. It's a very close game.
It looks like Eric Rayburn has settled in on Devon Gibbons as his quarterback.
Well, in the past, we have talked about Gibbons, staying with one quarterback, but Gibbons has been moving the offense today. Something could be wrong with TJ. We don't know, but he's definitely been moving his offense.
9 for 16, 132 yards through the air for the sophomore out of Stone Mountain, Georgia. Working out of the shotgun. Calls his own number around the corner, angles to the 30, and has his legs taken out from under him near the Savannah State sideline. Darius Johnson, the senior out of Baltimore, with the stop. And it's another first down for SSU. One more play for the Tigers in this quarter if they want it. High snap brought down. Saxton is stopped just on the other side of the line of scrimmage, and that will do it for the third quarter of play. We head to the fourth quarter here in Savannah. Morgan State on top of Savannah State, 18-11. We'll take a timeout on the field. You're watching Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference football on ESPN3. Welcome back to T.A. Wright Stadium. Morgan State on top of Savannah State, 18-11. 15 minutes of regulation time to go. 2nd and 9 for the Tigers. Devon Gibbons takes the high snap down, calls his own number, and is taken down by his shoelace at the 42.
I think Gibbons is doing a good job of reading this Morgan defense and picking the right hole to go through.
Gibbons up to 64 yards on the ground. Will work with an empty backfield. Just 6 men in the box. Gibbons settles in, throws the long pass, and leads his receiver about 5 yards too long. James Kicklighter, the speedy Savannah native, could not get under it.
Well, I tell you what, Morgan State's going to have to find an answer to cover the speedy Kicklighter because he's been beating those corners every time he's going down the field there.
We've seen the big pass completed to Travion Pratt earlier in this half. 2-by-2 line up the Tigers. Morgan State showing some pressure off the edge. A hard count, though, exposed it. Gibbons over the middle, completes the pass. It's Baldwin, and he is at the doorstep of the red zone.
Wow, that was a nice progression read by Gibbons, hitting Baldwin coming across the middle there.
Jermichael Baldwin, a name that we have not called a lot on offense this year, just his third catch of the season. The high snap taken. The late throw is incomplete as Gibbons slid across that left side of the offensive line and tried to hit Baldwin on back-to-back plays.
I tell you, this coaching staff of the Tigers are definitely coming out with some play calling tonight. They're calling plays that we have not seen come from the Tigers.
Now that was that run-pass option.
Yes.
Snead, Baldwin, and Saxton line up as the trips. Gibbons calls his own number and is yanked down around the 17.
And the Bears say not this time.
Damari Whitaker, the middle linebacker from Washington, D.C., in on the stop, the leading tackler for this Bears defense. It'll bring up 3rd and 7. Play action, Gibbons steps up in the pocket and is brought down for a sack.
Number 3, Devon Gibbons is sacked by number 5,
Ian McBurrow, the Essex, Maryland junior, with his 3rd sack of the season. And it appears the Tigers will line up for a field goal. Last week it was Alex Rea, the Morgan State kicker, who went 1 for 4 on field goal attempts. Right now, Giovanni Lugo is 1 for 3.
Well, he's lined up in a better position this time.
It's a 36-yard attempt. Snap is down. Kick is blocked. And the struggles on special teams continue for the Tigers. We'll take a timeout on the field. Morgan State on top of Savannah State, 18-11. We'll be back after this. You're watching MEAC Football on ESPN3. Welcome back to TA Wright Stadium in Savannah, Georgia. Morgan State an 18-11 lead over Savannah State with 12:18 to go in the fourth. A handoff through the middle, and SSU able to hold MSU to the line of scrimmage. It'll be a gain of 1 on forward progress, 2nd and 9. Well, here's where Morgan State can be dangerous with the football, eating clock with this rush first game.
Yes, it can be very dangerous here.
Savannah State just 2 timeouts remaining. Delayed pass over the middle on the play. Action is complete. And the Bears are out to midfield as Deontay White raced ahead through the Tiger. John Wilson.
The Bears have been exposing the Tigers middle all game.
Now working quickly is Morgan State. Delayed handoff. King is bottled up at the 45. John Wilson comes off the field, hobbled.
Second down to the 45-yard line.
It'll bring up 2nd and 5 for the Bears. Harris play action, throws to the outside, breaks free, and forward progress on White is stopped.
He did one good thing, Spencer. He stayed in bounds.
That he did, and so the clock will start once the chains are set at the 36. Still a 1-score game. MSU keeps it on the ground, and it will be another first down for the Bears.
They just grinding it out, trying to run the clock.
This SSU defense has gotten tired late in games.
Bears taking a long time to get this play off.
8 seconds on the play clock. Play action. Harris rolls out, throws, and the pass is intercepted. Donald Rutledge.
I tell you, the Tigers needed that one there.
And that'll give the Tigers back the momentum in this game. As we head to a timeout on the field, 18-11. Morgan State out in front. We'll be back after this on ESPN3.
You can't look away.
Welcome back to TA Wright Stadium as Morgan State is on top of Savannah State, 18-11. 9:27 to play in the fourth quarter. Donald Rutledge has just come up with his 2nd interception this season, as Savannah State will try and tie this game.
That's the kid, Damari Whitaker, we talked about on the play again.
Ball's on the 31-yard line.
It'll bring up 2nd and 6. Empty set for Givens. 78 rushing yards tonight. Drops back, looks, throws. Tons of contact, and now a late flag.
Pass is incomplete. Intended for number 37,
Jalen McLeod looked like he was held.
Wow, that was a late flag there.
Looked like the back judge was surprised that no one else threw it, so he just chucked it out there.
Yeah.
First down, Tigers.
So it'll be a first down for the Tigers from the 42. Gibbons has found some success with that empty backfield.
Yes, he has.
High snap brought down. Quarterback keeper around the corner and has nowhere to go.
He
loses the
ball.
football. And it appears that'll cost him a couple of yards. They'll say the ball came out before his knee touched the turf, and so it'll be a loss of 1 on the play. Got to protect that football if you're Savannah State. Trying to tie this game up with 8:23 remaining. Back to the 5 wide receiver formation. Another high snap brought in. Gibbons rolls out towards the SSU sideline. He finds Sneed, makes a move, and is into Bear territory. Oh, the line judge says that he stepped out right at midfield.
Gibbons did a good job of getting out there and aggression read and getting away from the defenders and getting that ball out to Sneed there.
Ball's on the 50-yard line. 33.
Gibbons, it appears, has settled in as the quarterback of choice here. As Pennington's snap is mishandled by Gibbons. And he'll fall on the ball for a loss of 5. Dylan McLeod, the starting center, has been out the last few weeks with an injury. Zay Pennington, the 6'3", 305-pound sophomore out of Sandalwood High School in Jacksonville, Florida, has been handling those duties in his absence, and that'll be a waste of a down and put a 4 in the box.
But I thought that Coach Rayburn said, well, let's go for it.
Special teams other than the onside kickoff have been a disaster for the Tigers this evening. Now we have a whistle and a false start.
Wow, it's going to back him up even more.
False start. Offense, 12. 5-yard penalty. Go fourth down.
Cofield will hover around the 17. This one muffed.
Well, the Bears will start in good field position again.
And Giovanni Lugo's disastrous night continues.
The Tigers been having some bad kicking moves tonight.
Ball spotted at midfield. We'll take a timeout on the field. Morgan State on top, 18-11. You're watching Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference football on ESPN3. Welcome back to T.A. Wright Stadium as Morgan State leads Savannah State 18-11. And you just heard Robert Frazier, our Whitecap this evening, warn the band about playing when Morgan State has the ball. And it doesn't matter on that play as Malik Simmons able to drop the rusher.
Well, that comes back from earlier when they were playing and when they got the interception.
Yeah, the Savannah State band was playing during the snap count while Harris threw that interception to Donald Rutledge. Morgan State here, though, with a key opportunity trying to close this game out. Crowd here at TA Wright Stadium getting loud. The handoff.
Number 22, William King on the carry. It's tackled by number 54, Salim McCray. And number 90, Cam Brown.
Yeah, the Tigers fans did not like that at all.
It's third down. Morgan State 3 of 8 on third down tonight. The handoff is stuffed, and it'll bring up fourth down. Some nice yardage actually on the end of that run after the initial contact.
Yes, it was. This could be a very interesting call here by the Morgan State coaching staff. Do they want to give the Tigers the ball back, or they want to take a chance?
Ball spotted at the 43. It is no man's land. Morgan State has not gone for it on fourth down yet this evening. So far this season, 3 of 8. The Tiger defense this year allowing 40% of their fourth down opportunities. Second in the MEAC.
Because I think they're going to let the clock run down and call timeout.
Morgan State will take the delay of game and back the punter up 5 yards to give him a little bit more room. So Nicholas O'Shea will have some room to work with, the freshman from West Bloomfield High School near Detroit, Michigan. And now Jamichael Baldwin will go to work.
Back to return for the Tigers, number 86, Jamichael Baldwin.
One of the most dangerous return men in all of FCS football. O'Shea gets a nice punt off. And the fair catch is called for by Baldwin at the 15. So the freshman gets the job done and is able to pin Savannah State deep, 85 yards away from the end zone.
Well, you know, they put the Tigers in the position where they needed to put them at. You know, now the Tigers going to have to come up big here.
Now it's up to Devon Gibbons to try and lead a game-tying drive. You look for Gibbons drops back to pass. Looking, still has time, and will fall to the ground and take a sack.
Devon Gibbons is sacked in the backfield by number 55, Chris Fadagoma.
Chris Fadagoma, the Baltimore, Maryland senior, was the one who would get credit for the sack, but really it was a coverage sack as there was plenty of time back there for Gibbons to work and just no one open.
That was a big loss of yardage too there.
Need the 25 for a first down. Pressure's on. Gibbons steps up out of the end zone and will gain 1 on the play.
Number 3, Devon Gibbons on the carry. It's tackled by number 99, Antoine McCray.
It'll bring up 3rd and 19. So a tough situation for the sophomore quarterback to try and maneuver out of. We've seen some big third down plays earlier in this ball game. Sophomore steps up, throws, and completes the pass back into the original set of sticks. Travion Pratt at the 17.
Fourth down, Tigers.
Well, it's 4th down for SSU. And the punt unit will trot out onto the field. So Eric Rayburn trusting his defense to get him the ball back one more time.
You know, I like where it's a chess game going, all right, we may do it, we may not. Let's hold up.
The Tigers need Giovanni Lugo to get a good kickoff here in the worst way possible. This time he does. A high spiraling punt fielded back at the 35. And the coverage unit does its job and is able to stop the advancement of the football at the 42. So it'll be a first down for Morgan State. With 2:20 to go, 18-11. Morgan State on top. The Bears in search of their first conference victory since beating Savannah State last year up in Baltimore. The handoff and a timeout called by SSU. It'll be their second timeout used.
Number 22, William King on the carry. Tackled by number 22, William Campbell. First team timeout of the half. This will be a 30-second timeout.
So the Tigers with one timeout remaining. Morgan State has dominated this series, Curtis. That's no secret. 10-0 against SSU. Only one really close game, one game within 7 points. That was the first one between these two teams. It was a 12-6 win for Morgan State back in the year 2000. Other than that, the Bears have been absolutely dominant against the Tigers.
Yes, they have. And they also played this Tiger team 1 year, 2000. I think it was up in the Classic up in Cleveland. It was a tough game there.
And so this rush first offense will try and do its job and burn as much clock as possible and make it very difficult on the Tigers to try and get back into this one. A lot of points left out on the field this evening by SSU. As that rush is brought down quickly. And it'll be the third and final timeout taken by Savannah State. 2:12 remaining. One possession ball game. If you're SSU right now, you need to stop and you need to somehow advance the ball on a potential punt.
Yeah, you need to. You definitely need a big stop here.
Morgan State 3 of 9 on third down opportunities this evening.
I don't think that the Morgan State Bears would try to pass here. I think they'll probably run and, to keep the clock running and maybe kick this ball and try to pin the Tigers down deep.
Second straight week in which the Tigers defense has allowed just 3 first downs on third down. Three wideouts working for Harris. The handoff. And Morgan State has stopped shy of that first down marker in Tiger territory.
Number 22, William King on the carry. He's tackled by number 5, Malik Simmons. Fourth down.
William King, 82 yards on the night. And it looks like the punt unit is coming on for Morgan State to try and bury Savannah State deep. Have yet to see a big return from Jermichael Baldwin this evening. One return attempted for 0 yards.
And you would think they would take the delay of game here, too.
They very well might. 3 seconds on the play clock. Just get the snap off. It's a high, booming punt. Baldwin forced to call for the fair catch. And he got lucky he didn't get flagged for advancing the ball.
Yeah, really. Coach DeMasi is telling him.
That could have been very costly, and there have been a bunch of costly penalties so far this evening for the Tigers. 5 personal fouls in a one-score game with 1:11 to go, and Devon Gibbons will have to engineer a drive 80 yards down the field. The sophomore around the corner, throws. And the pass is incomplete to Kicklighter.
Second down.
Gibbons 12 of 22 on the night. By far the best passing performance this season for the Tigers. SSU's second worst passing team in the nation. Gibbons drops back. Tosses one to the sideline, complete to Sneed at the 32. And that'll be good for a first down. And he stepped out of bounds. That'll stop the clock with an even 60 seconds to play. The Tigers with no timeouts will need to continue to work the boundaries.
Yeah, they got to get down quick, but they got to get in a hurry-up offense here.
Gibbons was able to navigate the offense down the field twice within a minute earlier in this game. As Kicklighter fell short of that first down marker, so the clock won't stop, and the Tigers are forced to rush to the line of scrimmage.
Darius Johnson balls at the 40-yard line.
Gibbons drops back. Steps up, throws, and the pass will fall incomplete.
Pass is incomplete, intended for number 14, DeAndre Sneed.
They're going to have to get out of bounds here. They can't afford to get it in. They don't need to throw to the middle. They got to throw to the outside to get out of bounds.
Well, it's 3rd and 1. I guess you could keep it on the ground because the clock will stop for the chains to reset, but you have to be quick to the line of scrimmage. Gibbons will throw, completes the pass to Baker, and he will advance to midfield. Clock will stop as the chains move. And the Tigers are ready to go. And Gibbons will clock it. 2nd and 10.
Second down.
This is the first time we've seen Devon Gibbons go under center to take a snap.
Yeah, really.
A lot of teams will not go under center, whether it's a victory formation or a spike, because they're not used to taking those kinds of snaps.
It's a new era of football these days.
Twins for the Tigers. Gibbons steps up, pressure, and he's sacked. Ball is loose. Morgan State says they have it, and the Bears do. That'll do it. Morgan State will come away with the first conference victory of the year.
Taylor Thompson, first down, Morgan State.
SSU left without a way to stop the clock, and Morgan State forces a turnover to seal the victory.
Yes, they did, and you notice the center have been hiking the ball for the past 2 series. Gibbons had to jump up and really get the ball. It's been throwing him off.
Savannah State has been working without starting center Dylan McLeod now for a few weeks as the Bears are in victory formation. Harris will take a knee, and that is it. A hard-fought ball game as both teams were searching for their first conference victory. The final score here in Savannah, 18-11. SSU falls to Morgan State. We'll take a timeout. You're watching MEAC Football on ESPN3. And we'll actually go ahead and stay with it and close things out here in Savannah. Oh, Curtis, a really hard-fought game out on the field. The Bears were the ones who were able to capitalize on their opponent's mistakes in order to come away with a very hard-earned victory.
Yes, they did, and we talked about this is who was going to come out victorious. Penalties, a lot of things that happened on both sides of the ball here. The Bears were able to capitalize some of the turnovers and penalties where the Tigers were unable to do that. But it's been a hard-fought game. It could have went either way. Tigers played hard.
Well, so for producer William Martin, analyst Curtis Foster, and the rest of our fantastic broadcast crew here in Savannah, I'm Spencer Turkin saying so long from T.A. Wright Stadium. The final score, 18-11. Morgan State comes away with the victory. All games airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN.